Hi guys, I'm Andy, welcome back to Backpacking UK, the YouTube channel that's all about hiking, backpacking and wild camping. Right, so I'm in the Lake District, specifically Wasdale Valley, to face my fears. So approximately about 5 years ago, bottled going up Sca Fell, so I've returned to get the job done. I've done Scafell Pike a few times, but Scafell, the mountain that originally was the highest mountain in England, I'm yet to conquer. So for me, you know, it wasn't just about doing Scafell the easy way, and there are easier ways to do it. It was to summit it one of the trickier ways. So either Lords Rake, the West Wall Traverse, or from Fox's Tongue. So those of you that have done Scafell Pike via the tourist track from Wasdale Head will know this route very, very well. But you turn the corner and all of a sudden the valley becomes alive. It's a really, really nice part. I've seen this absolutely brimming full of people, so I've pretty much got it to myself today, but it won't last long. I'll be veering off right to take on the tough stuff. So you might be asking, why am I facing my fears? Like, why don't I just summit one of the other 214 Wainwrights? Well, you know, I think some of it for me is quite personal. When my daughter was born, it's extremely traumatic for the both of us, which I'll probably talk about one day in a video. But yeah, definitely lost my edge, lost some of my sort of gung-ho adventure side to me. I think growing older you're less naive as well, and sometimes ignorance is bliss. But yeah, just I think 5 years or so ago we got to the bottom of Lords Rake, bottled it, ended up going up Mickledore instead and summiting Scafell. So yeah, it's a bit of a personal battle, this one. If I do conquer some of the tricky sections today, I'll be super proud of myself, and it's another step closer to healing and getting back that hardcore adventure side to me. So up there you've got the tourist track to Scafell Pike, and then you've got the track up to Mickledore where you can go Scafell Pike or Scafell, and then you've got the tricky paths to summit Scafell. So we're just coming up to the rock which we were chilling out on 5 years ago. It's a cracking spot. So that's your way up to Mickledore. It's a lot of scree, but it's a cool little scramble, and you've got the gnarly stuff. Once you're up here, it just looks so intimidating. I can see why we bottled it those years ago. Oh, this bit's tough going. It's really tricky, steep, slippery, but we'll get there. So there you've got the Lords Rake. So steep and scrambly, full of scree. all the way to the top. But first, I've got a scramble up here, which is narrow, screedy and slippy. So I'm not going to be messing about taking content up here. So this is the Mickledore scramble section done. So I'm about just over 2.5 miles in, about an hour and a half too. It's been cracking so far, but it's not a lot of wind in the air and it's so hot. Makes it really difficult. So I'm making my way across now. It's, to say it's slippy is a massive understatement. So trekking poles at the ready. Here it is, the bottom of Lords Rake, part 1. Now, videos never do this stuff justice. Jesus, that's steep. Flipping it, all loose rocks. Whoa, try and take what I can, but I'm certainly not risking broken bones for a bit of content. So that's the main part of the Lords Rake done. Whoa. I can see where you go up for the Wasdale Traverse, but I really want to see this through right to the top. It was the Lords Rake that we bottled. It wasn't the Wasdale Traverse. I'll leave that for another day. But oh, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. The only thing I would say is, if anyone comes behind you, just give them a shout to stay at the bottom, because it's impossible not to throw down rocks. It's so sketchy. And me personally, there's no way I'd do this in a wet. So now it's just a case of getting up part 2 and down the other side before it goes back up again. And then here we go. I've got the last part of the Lords Rake, and there's a look back to see this sort of descent and descent between the second and third parts. In the background there, far background, Scafell Pike. So here's the 360 views from Sca Fell, so Kirkfell, Great Gable, Scafell Pike. I've done all these mountains over here before, and then the actual cairn is there. So now just going to make my way over to Slight Side. So I've got Slight Side coming into view now, and this will be the final Wainwright of today. So here we are on top of Slight Side, 2,500 feet. That's the summit there. But it's a lovely little mountain, but from Scafell doesn't really do it justice. You have to approach it from different direction. But it's great to bag another summit, but it's even greater to have a breeze. So the plan is now to head towards Burnmore Tarn, and there's a bit of like a gully down there, so we should pick that up, try and get across to the full descent of Wasdale Head, and then I can just pick up the track back to Wasdale Head. Wow, look at this. That's an absolutely gorgeous waterfall. Beautiful. Running into Burnmore Tarn. Right, so that's the descent from Slight Side, nearly complete, and be a good opportunity to wrap the video up because the rest is a bit boring. But hopefully this video's sort of helped those, you know, trying to overcome their fears. We all have them. All different things can set us off, but it feels so good to conquer that fear. It's a fantastic feeling. Now, I would like to say, I didn't just rock up and do the Lords Rake. Researched it, spoke to people about it. I knew exactly what was coming. I knew I had the physical abilities to do it. It was the mental ability I was struggling with. So, you know, obviously it's not great trying to create content, but I wouldn't recommend trying to do that personally. But most of you aren't, you're not that silly. But it's also recommended that you do actually take a climbing helmet, just in case of the falling rocks. So that's just something to think about. But I'd also say it's well worth doing it in a pair as well, and I'd say that for anything sketchy. it's always worth doing it in a pair. But you know, I've done enough fells by now and enough little tricky bits to know what I'm doing. Just take your time as well, look at all your options, don't box yourself into anything, think before you move and you'll be absolutely fine. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, hope you enjoy me wrecking it, followed by the celebration, but hope to see you hiking soon. Cheers.